Tennessee Titans Derrick Henry had foot surgery yesterday. What does this mean? I'm Dr. Dana Brems. I'm a podiatric physician in my final year of residency, and I'm a foot and ankle surgeon. For some background, he had a right foot injury during the Colts game this last Sunday, the 31st. He actually injured it in the first quarter, but he played through the rest of the game. After being seen by a doctor, it was found that he had a fracture of his fifth metatarsal, called a Jones fracture. So what is that? If you're looking at the bones of the foot, there are 5 long bones, and the fifth one is the fifth metatarsal. And you can actually feel on the outside of your foot, this bump is the base of the fifth metatarsal. A Jones fracture is a fracture of the fifth metatarsal where the fourth and the fifth touch each other, right in this area. The reason this is concerning is because of relatively poor blood flow to this exact area. So there's a higher risk of non-union and non-healing of this type of fracture. So how does this fracture happen? This usually happens when someone pushes down off a plantar flexed foot, when the forefoot is pointed downwards and pressed on the ground, and then it's forcefully twisted inwards. That's when you get a fracture of this area. So we often see this in athletes like football and soccer players. After this type of fracture happens, we can do one of 2 things. 1, we can let it heal on its own, or 2, we can take it to surgery. We're more likely to take athletes to surgery right away because there's a quicker recovery time and there's less of a chance of it not healing. This Tuesday morning, Derrick Henry underwent foot surgery that apparently went very well. I've personally done this surgery, but not on Derrick Henry, and I do not know the surgeon who did this for Derrick Henry, so this is just my opinion and not to be taken as fact. But I think Derrick Henry's fracture was likely fixated with a large intermedullary screw, which is placed inside of the fifth metatarsal. The way that surgeons do this is shown in this animation by 𝐅𝐎𝐎. A wire is placed across the fracture site while a hole is drilled that the screw will go into, and it's measured. The final screw holds the bone in place and provides stability and compression across the fracture site. Another possibility is that he had a surgery with a plate and several smaller screws. The big question is, what is Derrick Henry's recovery going to look like? Usually for these, there's a short period of non-weight bearing, so staying off your feet for a couple weeks, and then protected weight bearing. Then he'll begin range of motion exercises and non-impact aerobic activity. Running activity and full impact activity could be started in 6 to 8 weeks if the surgical site is pain-free and if the radiographs look good. So I'll say that again. If there are clinical signs of healing and if there is bone formation on x-rays and CT, then he might be able to begin normal activity at 6 to 8 weeks. So if all goes well, fractures like this are healed in 6 to 8 weeks. However, there's a period of non-weight bearing, so an individual might not be at 100% where they were before at that 6 to 8 week mark. So this is just my opinion, but he might be able to return to play for 2022 for the playoffs, but it's very unlikely that he would return anytime in 2021. So there you have it. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below.